Choice is something we expect to have, and indeed is something which we exercise each day, from deciding what to wear, who to see, what to eat, and so on. Choice and the process of choosing implies that we have options which require a process of consideration and selection, and the initiative lies with us. And in some ways, it would have been like this for the disciples. Normally, they would choose to attach themselves to a particular rabbi. But we know from the Gospel accounts that it was Jesus who chose or called his disciples, often with the suggestions that they follow him, flawed as they were, with their different characters, personalities, experiences, and expectations. Jesus chose them to become his disciples and to share in his teaching, his love, and his grace. John's Gospel records the statement, "I have chosen you," the theme for today's reflection. It falls in the context of the last discourses, where Jesus has a private conversation with his disciples at the Last Supper before his arrest. His declaration that he chose them implies a deep attachment and a deep concern for them, and he is aware of the dangers they will face in the days and weeks ahead. He asks that they fulfill two purposes. They are to bear fruit, and that such fruit should flourish and remain. They are to love each other as he has loved them. Jesus can have no certainty that they would indeed fulfill those purposes. He was aware of the fickle nature of men, as he illustrated in the narrative of the guests who were invited to a great dinner in Luke 14. The chosen guests were summoned by the servants when the meal was ready for them, but they all declined to attend. One stated that he had business to attend to, another that he had to attend to his livestock, and yet another that he had just got married. Thus, business, attachment to possessions, and to personal relationships were all grounds for rejecting their invitation. Chosen they may have been, but they chose to say no. So what of us today? How do we react to being told that we have been chosen, nominated by someone? Does it make a difference as to who has chosen us, and why or for what purpose? How do we test that calling before we choose how to respond? Quakers are encouraged to follow this advice. When choices arise, do we take the way that offers the fullest opportunity for the use of our gifts in the service of God and our community? Do we join with others in seeking clearness, asking for God's guidance and offering counsel to one another? I can discern some helpful steps that might assist us. 1. We need to recognize whose we are, that we are God's from the beginning, and that we need to acknowledge that relationship in our daily living. 2. We need to recognize, like all children, that we must grow, become spiritually mature if we are to fulfill the promise that is ours from our birth. So we need to learn more about God in our lives and our relationship with him, and to see the opportunities for study, prayer, and growth in the people and the experiences that we encounter. 3. We need to recognize the needs of others and the gifts we have to offer them. We have personalities, skill sets, interests, and experience, and by self-examination we can discern our gifts and the situation in which we are placed, and thus how we can best love and serve others. 4. All of this requires us to really listen. For God, who has called us into a deep and personal relationship, continues to speak to us. So we need to be alert, expectant, and attentive. 5. We can seek clearness, discernment, with the help of trusted friends and our faith community, who can often tell us who we are and whose we are. They can confirm and help us to recognize a call. And lastly, 6. Then it is up to us to respond positively and go ahead with what we have been chosen to do. I am not suggesting that any of this is easy. We are often faced with jumbled up inner storms of excitement and fear, insecurity and hope. Which of us has not been there? We have to face our excuses, our fears, and ourselves in all honesty before God. Alan Bosack, in a speech made in 1989, said this: "We are not called to be fearful. We are called to love. We are not called to be perfect. We are called to be faithful. We are not called to be fearless. We are called to be obedient. We are not called to be all-knowing. We are called to believe. We are not called to lord it over others. We are called to be courageous." I wonder what God has chosen for you today, what plans He has for you. St. Augustine reminds us that our hearts are restless until they find their rest in God. I hope that today you will find that rest and fulfill your God-given purpose. May God bless you with discomfort at easy answers, half-truths, and superficial relationships, so that you may live deep within your heart. May God bless you with anger at injustice, oppression, and exploitation of people, so that you may work for justice, freedom, and peace. May God bless you with tears for those who suffer from pain, rejection, starvation, and war, so that you may reach out your hand to comfort them and turn their pain into joy. And may God bless you with enough foolishness to believe that you can make a difference in this world, so that you can do what others claim cannot be done. Amen.